All right, welcome back to another episode of Knicks Morning Koffee. I'm Mr. King. Y'all know my host, Joe Cool.
What's going on?
All right, last night was a pretty good game, but we're going to talk about the Knicks draft situation, and then we're going to talk about who we got and where can we go from here. But in the meantime, could y'all take that moment to hit the like button, and remember to comment, subscribe, and share with a friend. All right, so before we jump right into that, who we got, I thought it was important too for us to look at the whole idea of this draft, of these trades, when we thinking in terms of our management team and where we needed to do to go forward. And before the trade deadline, we knew we had issues that we had to solve, and particularly, I thought we needed a strong small forward, right? If we didn't do nothing else, and then. As the way it was kept, I still had hope that we could still get in the playoffs with everybody playing at the top of their game. Because we have proven that we can play with the big boys when everybody's on their game. That we can still get in the playoffs and make some noise. And I started looking at the moves that all the other teams was making. I mean, history was almost made in this trade deadline because a lot of names moved. And a lot of big teams helped themselves. So now we pushed ourselves behind the 8 ball. That even playing at our best, with the way these other teams, the top teams, improved, now our chances of doing real damage in the playoffs is hurt. Because I think Leon Rose and them, to me, I don't know what their going was, but they dropped the ball. Because even when we was talking a little bit during that day of the trade deadline, our names wasn't even being mentioned in rumors, really.
Right.
You know, and it's sad because when you look at the players that we have, other teams had value in the players that we have. So while we running around giving people away historically, other teams are holding everybody else hostage and holding them for ransom.
We're gonna talk about later of just giving players away.
Yeah. So, you know, I just thought we could have done more when we started, especially when we started seeing chess moves being made.
Yeah.
and that's exactly what it was. So
the Suns coming out with KD. That's when people ask me what does Chris Paul need, he just needed that extra person to pass to. That's really all he needs.
Yeah, take the pressure off.
Yeah, to take the pressure off. LeBron had it. LeBron has it every time he gets a ring. There's somebody there to take the pressure off. Teams got to start valuing the players that actually make that difference on the court.
Yeah.
Like I said, we'll still get into that later, but a name that comes to the top of my head for just any team, not even just the Knicks, Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard on the Lakers, that was a strong piece. It makes the game easier, even though you can say what you want to say about him, but they don't win without him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can put him in the starting lineup or off the bench. It don't matter. He going to give you them numbers. And he's going to be a dominant force out there. They can't really stop him. So...
yeah, I mean, we had opportunity and major moves when you go back to Phoenix, even to talk about the Nets for a second. I don't care what transpiring. Kyrie, you almost kind of had to move. I wouldn't have moved him to the Lakers because you ain't going to disrupt my team and just go right where you want to go. But his contract.
My goal was not to send him to the Lakers.
Yeah, and his contract where he could have walked away, they got nothing. So even that still was a desperate move for what they got back. But the KD trade for a team who a few weeks ago could have been contending for a title, KD, you on the contract for 3 years, you ain't going nowhere. We could try to bring in a player, you know, that would get you back on track, get your mind right. But at the same time, I'd have held you till the end of the season to at least get back a star. Now, Phoenix, you want KD in the summertime, then you're going to give me, you know, your star. Because I'm not just giving you my star. Because you essentially, even though you got some nice pieces back, you know, because you know you got back three good role players, you know, and plus in the trade with Kyrie, you got back some role players, and you got the 4 first-round picks. But again, it's too easy to bail on a team like that unless with the team the Nets have, if you could have gotten Ben Simmons to maybe shake him out of his funk. Now he got a lot of pieces to pass the ball to.
With the Nets, listen, they talk about how bad the Knicks organization is. Well, we're not that bad.
Nah, not
right. Compared to the Nets, we nowhere near that bad. think about all the players they let go with Jared Allen, that's killing over there in Cleveland.
Yep.
You let him go to get KD, Kyrie. You done had James Harden. You done had to let him go. Now you get rid of KD, Kyrie. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That is insane. And then you end up with just Ben Simmons. And I'm not going to talk bad about Ben Simmons because I actually like Ben Simmons.
Well, I mean, if they could resurrect his career with the talent that they do have now, they could look pretty good.
Right.
Because he'll have a whole lot of outlets to get the long rebounds and push the ball up the court, which is his strength. But, you know, for the Nets, that is what it is. But for us, we had opportunity to do something, you know, really special. Because you just think about the Lakers, you know, people that wanted Cam. People like the Clippers, people that wanted Hartenstein, you know, Obi, you know, IQ, you know, D Rose, like everybody that we're not pretty much not playing, other teams wanted. So why couldn't we have maximized that? And then the one thing I no longer want to hear somebody say is that we don't have enough when in terms of getting things done. Because one thing the Knicks do is that we got draft picks, we got expiring contracts, we got young players, and then we got tradable players, you know, on top of that. So there's no reason why and you could have done it without gutting your team, because that essentially seemed like what teams have done.
Right.
They brought in the pieces they was missing without gutting out their whole team. And then you look at a Milwaukee making the trade with the Nets for Jay Crowder. Now that pushes them up there in the top of the East. Not that they weren't already there, but now that pushes them up there even more. So we didn't combat none of that.
And I don't know if it's stubbornness, so I'll just get right into it. I'm gonna have a segment. How does this affect the Knicks? Right? So after all this is being said, Cam Reddish. We trade Cam Reddish. Though we get Hart in the trade, which comes out to be really good, but now Cam goes to score in 17 minutes, 11 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Right?
Good.
Hart kind of got the same numbers in 23 minutes, but he got more rebounds and assists, added the steals. So he actually did better. But when you look at our starting lineup now and where we could have made those changes, so even if we did trade Cam Reddish for Hart, or let's say we got Hart anyway, you could have put Cam Reddish in RJ's spot and traded RJ for, like, you know what I mean? Now in hindsight, when I watched the game last night, RJ misses way too many passes. Like, he's missing people, open man. When he takes it to the hole, it's not consistent. Like, really what we probably needed a small forward and a different big man. Like, I like Hartenstein, but maybe we needed something else for our system.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sims, you can't really let go right away yet because maybe he just needs a different role. But I don't know if it's the Knicks stubbornness, the coach stubbornness, the organization, but you could have made those changes.
Well, we definitely undervaluing the players that we got and where they could fit in. Yeah, and
he came in hot. When I tell you Cam Reddish came in hot, first 3 points of the game, or the 3 buckets of the game, 2 of them was from him, right away. You know what I mean? Just like how Hart did for us. But that would have been a big deal if you could have just maybe sat RJ down and put him there.
Yeah, but you gotta look at too with Reddish going out there to Portland. Portland has an open style, so their wing players, they're built for that in Portland. Like their wing, that's part of their offense, is getting their wing players out in transition. So he's gonna flourish no matter what, unless he's just having a bad shooting night. He's gonna have opportunity to shoot the ball and get out in transition. That's just how Portland is. And when it comes back around to Dame, you already know what Dame gonna do with it. But yeah, we I don't know. It's just that it's just sad that with all we had going for us this year, because I don't care what I tell you, other people, I don't get involved with that. When people just say we just can't do it because we the Knicks. You know, at the top of our game, we proved that we can play with anybody. So like I look at a Jay Crowder, which might have been harder to get because somebody did bring that up the other day, because he was in that secret quiet deal. But even before he got to the Nets to be rerouted to Milwaukee. Like, why aren't we looking, you know, who was the other one that came in? Bridges. You know, why didn't we try to get Bridges? A real 3-and-D guy that could plug in and help us right now with the people that we had sitting on our bench. And then we left those people sitting on our bench. Like Derrick Rose, yeah, it might be a buyout, but You could have gotten something for Derrick Rose other than cap relief. Fournier. You could have gotten something for Fournier.
Yeah, you could have definitely got something for RJ, Fournier, D Rose, and let's just say 2 of the picks. Like, you could have got anybody else to come in to help. So even if you did trade Cam Reddish because we wasn't going to use him, we only did the 9-man rotation. If you look at last night, Fournier just didn't play, McBride didn't play.
Yep.
So they still fell right into a 9-man rotation.
Yeah.
So we're not going to give Obi a real shot.
Yeah, because Mitch come back, Obi's going to probably be the
That's
one.
what I'm saying. Mitch come back.
Not Obi,
no,
but
Sims.
Jericho.
Yeah, Jericho's going to sit. Because Mitch is like a strong piece of somebody that we really do need. Like, I don't care what nobody say. That has to be talked about more.
All right. Mitch, I thought you were going to go in and say Randall, too. That's why I was like, where we going with this?
All right, so, yeah, and then Randall, looking how the team is falling into place now, Randall is definitely somebody that we're going to have stayed in. Because then you just got to, RJ just not doing what he's supposed to do. I don't know. And just for the credit of the Knicks, looking how the Cam Reddish played out, I don't know if this is our players or how the coaching is set up.
Yeah.
Because it looks like Tibbs is just too stubborn. Too stubborn. Like 9-man rotation, tight rotation, back-to-back games. You got weapons on the court that can probably play some of those minutes.
Yeah.
They probably tired. Because the Knicks, we got to kill ourselves. Nobody's letting up on the Knicks.
Nah.
When you watch these games every night, it's like when they play the Knicks, especially now after this All-Star break, teams start playing harder because now they want position. They want to make the playoffs. So now it's going to get harder. And teams just got harder. It wasn't like teams got easier to play. Maybe the Nets got easier to play, but when you go to play Phoenix, I don't even think we played them yet. Did we play them? So now when we go over there, that's another headache. When you go to the West Coast, any West Coast game is going to be a headache. And then the East Coast, everybody fighting for position because everybody's right there.
Yeah, I mean, the West is always hard for us, but our road game, we do pretty good on the road for whatever reason. We just got the 500 at home.
Because they get that rest
last night.
They got to go on a flight. They probably get the rest.
I don't know if that's even there because in the past that didn't help us in the past.
Because now when I'm looking at these games, I'm like, wow. Like Randall, my only grief for Randall is why you can't assert yourself like that every night. Like the great players do that. Like,
well, okay, we know he's not. Physical. Yeah, we know he's not one of the greats.
And he's getting his calls more than Melo gets calls. Like they don't give him his calls. They don't give Knicks players their calls at all. But he do get more calls than Melo used to get. I just gauge it from...
Nah, Melo was a steady player at the line.
I'm not talking about Melo never get his calls.
No, he got his call. He didn't get all those. They treated Melo like Shaq. But Melo, he would go to the line 8 to 10 times a game, but it wasn't right. They didn't give him the star call. But he always went right. That was that Shaq.
But Randall did score 30-something points last night.
Well, that's easy because you take enough shots. Yeah, Randall, what Randall's doing is that we put Randall... And we kind of doing that with Brunson a little bit. But if you put them in a position, yeah, he'll get the ball on the block. But what is the other activity going on when the ball's on the block? Those are the things that can make an impact.
All right, but that comes down to the player because I laugh when Brunson scored his 40-something. What did he score? Not 40-something. Brunson 38. I laughed. I said, this is what we probably needed Brunson to do. But then when you see what Hart is doing on the court, you see how Obi still does his movement on the court. Like, that's what the other players got to do.
Yeah.
Like, you get yours where you fall in.
Yeah.
And, like, Cam Reddish, like, that to me, even though we got Hart, that hurt. Because looking at RJ, like, you just not doing that little bit of stuff.
Yeah. See, RJ gives you that. I think it's the notion of what he's supposed to be, and you have that star, so-called other person who could be a star on the court, but it's not producing in terms of impact. When you look at maybe his impact might be more than what Reddish gives us, but Reddish could give us more production, on the court. But RJ gives you more impact, meaning that other teams they remember, Canadian Mamba. They remember because all these guys are around the same age. But the production is not showing, and you cannot still be the reason why we fall out of games because you just can't hit a routine three.
Listen, Josh had 7 rebounds where we were missing because of Mitch gone. 4 steals. We class said we 28th.
No, well, steals. Yeah. I mean, we
4 steals right off the back.
Yeah,
probably more steals than we get every game.
Well, that's where.
And he's going for them too. It's not
he is where Grimes will learn for next year on the defensive end when the steals in terms of digging out the ball from the big man without fouling him. You know, because he does that very well.
Grimes, getting him in the passing lane.
Right, but Grimes is learning that.
Yeah. What Clyde say? Lackadaisical?
Yeah.
Hart is there. He's great. He's taking it. He's like, oh, you think you just going to throw it any kind of way? Nah.
You got to look at Hart. This is why I say with the Knicks in this trade. Last week when I said what we need is a player who's going to do the same thing every day no matter what. Right? So as soon as we got Hart gives us that. Right? We got him for Reddish. It still kept us with a crowded backcourt. But he's not a savior, but he will give you that steady influence. He's going to play the same way every day no matter what. Rather he get 10 points or 25 points, he's going to be a steady thing on your offense, decent side of the ball. But I thought that player we was going to get was going to be on the small forward position. So when you look at with OG Anunoby, yeah, okay, they want to hold people ransom, right? He's not KD or LeBron or Giannis, but they did what they felt they had to do because if so many people inquiring about my player, then I'm not just going to give him away. But if you was looking to move him, Knicks, you trying to tell me with Leon Rose and Worldwide West, we couldn't get on the phone with our assets, right? Without gutting it all up. You're not getting all our number ones, and you're not getting all our players, but we can give you 2 number ones, and we can give you 2 solid players, maybe even a third, because his salary would have matched anybody that we have.
Yeah, I mean to tell me, and I said this in the beginning of the show, so you mean to tell me y'all just can't go get Dwight Howard real fast? Listen,
that's not the answer.
No,
right
I'm talking
now.
about the saviors don't mean nothing. We gotta get somebody that can control the paint when Mitch is not there, or take some of that pressure off Mitch. Hartstein's not playing like Laurie Marketing that's over here getting highlights, even though he's a power forward.
Yeah.
Nah, that's what we needed. That's what I thought Hartenstein was.
Well, the Clippers. Well, you can't go by that because you remember Utah gutted their team, so anybody could have stepped up. And I'm not even trying to knock, marketing. But anybody, when you don't got nobody, anybody could step up now and try to be the man because now the ball's going to be force-fed to you.
Yeah, we don't need
So you can be force-fed on a bad team. He just really gives me that Tony Campbell. Some of y'all don't know Tony Campbell from back in the day, but he played with the Lakers and he played with the Knicks. He was on Minnesota as a rookie, a couple of years, averaging 26-something points a game on a team that ain't going nowhere. Then he got sent to the Lakers in the championship game, and you become a spot-up shooter. Then the Knicks got him later on. But those are things that, fool's gold type of things. But marketing is a good player. Yeah, but if you're force-feeding a player all the time, they're going to get the numbers.
I'm talking about, but it's not about the force-feeding. It's what we talk about all the time. The ball just finds you.
They ain't finding him. The ball's going to go to him because he's the only guy they got.
But the way he do it, it's different. But like I said, you can't go get. I feel like what will help the team right now, since we're not gonna get another 2, is we got to fix our big man situation because that's.
Well, who was the other guy?
We like both of them.
Who was that they was talking about bringing in? Who was the big man they was talking about?
If it ain't Dwight Howard, I don't.
Nah, he can do us better than Dwight Howard right now.
You think so?
Yeah, we were just talking about it last week too. Damn, he used to be on Toronto, then he went on. Somebody was buying him out. Damn. Serge Ibaka. Serge Ibaka right now will help us way more than Dwight Howard.
But is he Serge Ibaka or is he
he's Serge Ibaka enough that he's going to rebound the ball, he's still going to rim run, and he's going to protect the paint.
That's what we need.
And he's going to rotate on deep. He's going to do all those little things, right? Just like a Dwight Howard would do for us. But yeah, we needed something like that, but we needed that other, to me, score alongside Randall in the front court. Because you're not going to get that in Mitch as far as that. So you had to get it in the small forward position to me. And we needed that, and we dropped the ball on that because if we ran down a list of all these names of small forwards, real 3-and-D guys who could score, who got moved, or teams was trying to move them but couldn't make a deal.
Or what did the guy say the other night about Cam Reddish? Sometimes you got to let the horse out of the stable. Well, Obi, maybe you got to just see what he do in that position. See what he do in that. And
that's not even far. That's not even far fetched.
I'm talking about his now, but I think they love RJ so much, and I know people don't want to. If he makes the dollars, later for that.
Listen, you talk about marketing.
Get RJ to sit down, put Obi there, and see what happens.
Listen, that's how many times have I said that we should play Julius and and Obi together at the small forward position because all y'all really got Obi doing is circling around the perimeter anyway. You can teach him the perimeter defense in practice by letting him guard RJ or somebody like that in practice. Let him guard the small forward. Then you can pick up the nuances. But it's not what it'll give you on the offensive side will help make up for some of that. And teaching him to play the passing lane.
His stature and play style remind me a lot of Amari Stoudemire. Go train with him for a little bit. Get that little elbow jump shot. Bring it in some. You ain't got to shoot the three. Everybody don't got to shoot three.
That wasn't his game, though. We made him do that.
Yeah, the game doesn't change the three, but that's the problem with the Knicks. You make them players do stuff that they don't even need to do. Yeah. Randall don't got to shoot threes all day. Have him kick that back out to Brunson and Hart and
that would also be Randall. He's doing. I don't fault Randall.
I don't mind him for that, but
because the ball he does find the open man. But the two of them playing together with Obi at the small forward because Randall also is on the perimeter. You can sneak Obi down there in the mid post because he has shown college, summer league, and preseason early last year. He showed that given the touches and minutes, he can be productive. It's us. So you talk about Larry Marketing over in Utah. So okay, take Marketing off and put Obi there as their prime player. He's gonna do the same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, the ability is there. It's Tibbs' system. I ain't even gonna say trusting the players. Once you put the player on the floor, you're supposed to trust them. But the ball, the offense don't circulate. Remember, we always talked about we need almost like an offensive coordinator alongside Tibbs, helping him run the offense.
Yeah.
Because we even stopped running. And I even noticed yesterday on one of the plays at the end with Brunson, when Brunson drives, yeah, he may drive sometime to find the kicker, but he'll also drive to get a shot. But he was looking for his boy right away, which is a positive. But we got to be like that with everybody. Our whole team got to be that way with everybody.
Randall, I feel like, is on that page when the time is right.
Well, in the post, he's on that
page. Grimes is on that page. RJ overlooked people when they on the corner. He overlooked quickly. Well, I thought he was doing it to Hart on purpose. It seemed like when a new Knick get there, it's almost like they don't like it. But after watching the game, I was wrong because he do it too quickly. He did it the other night when we lost. It was like he ain't see him wide open down there. Like, it's like he not looking. I don't know.
Well, no, I think it's a selfishness that I'm not gonna get the ball back because even as hard as it is for the Knicks to inbound the ball, I don't care where we are in the court and what situation, we cannot inbound the ball. And we had when RJ threw it away 2 games ago, Randall was right in front of him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
right there.
And so it's like you don't want to give it to him because you want to take the last shot, not knowing that it's let's do this as a team. But now let me ask you this about Hart. Should we start him, knowing that he came with I'm saying with the history that he got? Now, it's just a question. With the history that he got with Randall and the history that he got with Brunson, because now he's going to play with that cliche because he said himself in his press conference, the two guys on our team are the guys for the team. Like my guys are the guys. Like so, I'm not worrying about nobody else really. Which he's supposed to be a likable teammate anyway. But if you got our two stars are your buddy. So I'm going to come in here. Should that chemistry be saved for the end of the game like they did last night? Or should you put him in there and then maybe...
that's what I was going to say. I said it worked last night.
Well, let's ask them too.
So now
when you get this, hold on a second. When you get this, let us know, should you start him for chemistry? Or should you keep it like it is and have him come off the bench? Because hell, we can start him for either one. I mean, I don't want to. We can start him for RJ, which they won't, and the other one is Grimes.
Because I was thinking about that before we started the show. Like, should he just switch with Grimes? But what is a better learning experience? Just starting or coming off the bench?
Well,
for Grimes' sake. Now, for RJ's sake, he just lucked out, right? Because maybe he just is the better small forward that we got on the team. But looking at what happened with Cam Reddish, now in hindsight, it's like, damn, we got the players sitting on the bench. Like Fournier, I called it. Like he just needs to shoot. And when he just shoots, he's amazing, right? Like we're calling it as Knicks fans, but they're not producing it. So yeah, he could just start and have Grimes come off the bench because Grimes probably have an easier chance playing off the bench versus the other bench players, he's better than the other team's bench players. So when he comes off the bench, he's killing. Same thing with Quickly. When Quickly starts, he plays good. Yeah. But they ain't as good when he come off the bench. When he come off the bench, they can't hold him.
Yeah.
It's like fresh legs get on the court. He got a whole bunch of energy. He's killing them. So sometimes you're really good because you playing the second tier players. That's why our bench players be so good. Like they can start, but they just not starter material.
Yeah.
So yeah, I probably would switch Grimes and Hart, but because Grimes kind of fought his way to the starting lineup, I just wouldn't give it to Hart right away. Like I would, if Grimes keep doing 1 point, 1 assist like he did last night, then I gotta switch you.
Well, yeah, because you want to see Grimes as great as he is getting the ball, attacking the basket. We need that shooting. We need that constant outside shooting. And Hart can shoot. You know, he's not a volume shooter, but you know, even back in his days in LA, you know, playing behind, you know, Lonzo Ball and behind him and alongside of him, you know, he was a part of that offensive clique that they had. You know, with Kyle Kuzma and them, they was running and they was doing their stuff. So he won't hurt you in the starting lineup. But when you're talking about developing, we could leave Grimes there to develop, but at the same time, Grimes actually can learn some things from Hart for next year. You know, even though he still needs to keep playing. Because the defensive mindset that we want Grimes to be in, he can learn some of the little nuances from Hart. You know, playing alongside him or behind him. And then at the same time, Hart can also come in and give you minutes at 3 different positions.
Right.
That's not going to hurt you. But what I would just like to see the Knicks with that rotation, throw Obi in the mix of that rotation. Because now you got that other gritty player. You know, you got that dude that's, you know, when the game is on the line, he's not going to be your go-to guy, but he's going to be that type of guy that now I can get out here and stretch the defense a little bit more because the man ain't just going to be going by me for the sake of going by me. So if you could have added that small forward with him, like, and then even I don't know if Marquise Morris, if he's really a small forward, but somebody, you know, if you could have put in there, like I would say now with Mitch back, we're gonna fight because teams attacking the rim on us without Mitch, but we're gonna fight to the end because it's gonna be buyouts, and if you can still get that guy, even talking about that other rim, that other offensive big man, if you can still get those guys, because now look at the roster spots that we open up. We opened up 3 roster spots. We just brought up 2 or 3 guys from the G League. So they're going to be looking to fill those spots. You're probably going to buy out Derrick Rose, which to me, I would probably hold on to him.
Yeah. Because
I let him sit there because the playoffs, you might need him.
And that's hurting too because Derrick Rose, I felt like last year was one of them leaders. When we lost, what's his name? I feel like when we lost him, we just lost our leader. Like, I know he wasn't the star player or the main player, Gibson. Taj Gibson, like he was that OG that can talk to everybody. Yeah. I feel like everybody was more settled down. Even RJ, like I don't know if he had that connection with everybody, but you could tell players
respect him.
Was level-headed.
Yeah.
The guards can now focus on D Rose, even though D Rose wasn't playing as much. D Rose still had that insight for Quickly in them. They don't even look like they even looking to him for insight, right? Like. D Rose is there.
No, he talked about that, and remember he talked about that about a month ago. One of the reasons why he is able to sit there and root for them that way because they still come to him. Okay. So if they didn't do that, then he probably would be salty.
I feel like
but I'd hold on to him. He's not going to play right now.
I feel like you still need him. And
I
know he wants to play.
Look, you're going to make the playoffs.
We still going to need him.
You're going to make the playoffs, even if you're the 10th seed. Because those teams at the bottom, at this point, they're not going to try to win. Because everybody want that other dude, you know, the number 1 pick going to be next year. So even if you fall off, you're going to make the playoffs by default. So if you're going to get in the playoffs, knowing that, and I know people say, we don't have a chance, but knowing that you're going to get in, even if it has to end up being the 9th and 10th seed, because the little teams are going to try to keep losing, the bottom teams. So at least get in and then see what guys is made of when you get in. See who elevates their game. So then in the summertime, you can try to plug, you know, and pick and fill holes in the summertime. But ain't no sense just getting in and automatically, you know, go out. Well, if you even get in because of the 1 game playing. But let's if you got to do all that, let's try to get in there and make some noise. Yeah. because you have the pieces.
Y'all gonna kill me. I say, go get Dwight Howard and go get Carmelo. They both ain't doing nothing right now. Go get them. Bring them on the Knicks.
Tibbs ain't gonna play Carmelo, so what's the difference? You know, it's gonna have to be a 3-and-D guy.
But I bet you he play him if he's putting up more numbers than RJ. Cause he definitely gonna do that with the bench.
Yeah.
Because what's gonna happen is you're gonna bring Melo in. You're gonna take Obi minutes, right? So Obi, odd man out for right now. He's gonna come in for Obi minutes, and he's gonna be killing at that spot, and it's gonna mess up what RJ got going on. I'm telling you, this was gonna happen.
Nobody loves Melo more than me.
But Dwight Howard's gonna take Jericho's spot.
Nah, it's not.
Jericho's gonna sit. That's what I would do. Put both.
All that I could probably see if the trade deadline came and gone and no teams upgraded.
Man, listen.
But being that other teams upgraded, Dwight Howard and Melo are not going to move the needle for us because Tibbs' playing style, hold on 1 second, Tibbs' playing style is the ball pressure up top and trying to get out and maybe run a little bit. You know, he ain't going to have three. Melo he ain't going to have guys hanging back the way laid back as Melo is. Where would he fit?
All right,
like,
so.
There's not enough movement for Melo.
Yeah, but listen. All right, so starters, right? You got Brunson, RJ.
You really doing this?
Listen, you gotta have Dwight Howard. He don't want to be the go-to guy anyway.
Well, he ain't been that when he was with the Lakers.
He complains when he does it, so that's good. Off the bench, Melo only has to be on the Knicks so he can retire Nick. One, cause I think that's what he wants to do anyway.
Yeah, I'm with that.
All right, and he only gotta play a little bit of minutes for right now. When we need him to step up, he'll be there. That's what we missing anyway. RJ played defense, but he ain't playing phenomenal defense anyway. Melo been resting. He got fresh legs.
But again.
All they want RJ to do is shoot anyway. RJ be missing.
So, again, then we should have made that deal for OG Anunoby.
We should have.
We should
I'm talking about
got that
something
deal.
that they could do right now.
Him, Gary Trent Jr. Toronto was trying to make a deal.
Nah.
They had Pascal Siakam on the trading block. They was trying to make a deal. They didn't see what they fit that they like in terms of, you want to try to get more for your players than would be expected. Well, I'm just interested to find out later on what was in the mindset of Knicks management, because you got to think about this. Like, what in their mindset? What is the value in the players that we want, right?
Family.
Rather they was out there, right? Rather they was out there on the block or not on the trading block. And then what is the value of the players that we have? So we couldn't match those two things together and then go out and say, okay, I can afford to give 2 picks here, a lesser pick there. Okay, I can afford this player and that player. Because if you gut your whole offense or players, because everybody we were sending out was offensive players. So then what's that's going to leave you with in terms of injury? So you got to hold on to some value. But we just decided, I don't know. We'll find out later.
We didn't really gut anything. We just lost Cam Reddish.
We just lost Cam Reddish.
And the other 2 guys, they just wasn't going to play, right? So I'm not worried about it. Cam Reddish wasn't playing. The other 2 guys just wasn't playing. But Cam Reddish should have played. That's the problem. So for this year, to fill the roster spots with them veterans, give them a veteran minimum, and let's just call it a day. Because if they play or not, at least they own the roster.
Well, Dwight Howard to me would be a better fit right now than Melo.
Gotta be, because
but
he is a better fit than Melo. Melo my favorite player, so he.
So I say Serge, because Serge is playing right now, even though Dwight's playing overseas. Serge is playing right now. Serge can hit the mid jumper. He could do things offensively away from the basket that Dwight can't.
I'm talking about Serge. He's on the team though right now.
He's on somebody's team. He's just not playing, but he was going to be bought out. So
if he's brought out,
pick him up. We
do need,
because you still get offense down. You still get offense from your center position.
But what is that? A rim protector?
No, he's a rim protector and he can score.
That's what I'm saying. That's what somebody that just, you're not going to just go up in there. Jericho's trying, though he jump high, he's not blocking us. He's just not. But they're not scared of Jericho. They going at Jericho anyway.
Well, look, we just dropped the ball on that trading deadline. We could have gotten ourselves some things. We're going to be in the playoffs, but it's just a matter now of how much fight will be in us when we don't have that other real third guy, which would have had to be 3-and-D, and something still could be done. But it's a shame. It's just a shame that we left so much to be desired, and we left so much on the table. And just ain't nobody to blame but our Knicks management. Because y'all guys should have definitely been able to pull that off. So let's just go back to Hart for a quick second. What Hart's strength, in the midst of all of that, some of the strengths that he has is going to help us.
Yeah.
If Randall could stay consistent, Brunson could stay consistent, IQ and RJ could keep giving you something. IQ is going to give you something, but he had those nights. If RJ could give you something, when you got a guy, when you got a glue piece like Hart, it's going to make the game easier for a lot of the other people. It just wasn't the answer, the total answer that we needed. You know, he feels one need of that consistent player, but he don't feel that need that we could say, okay, with him out there, we're going to punch somebody in the gut. Right? So we didn't got that. So I know something's going to be done somewhere because people are going to be bought out, but you got to go out and bring in the person in that position that you need, and don't worry about whose minutes that they hurt, because you didn't care. Again, you didn't care about Obi's minutes. I mean, you didn't care about Obi, Derrick Rose, and Fournier, right? So if RJ's got to be hurt, you put him on the bench at the end of games because you want more shooting and scoring. Fine, I'm glad he do that. Who cares what RJ feel? And then when you bring in somebody, if they cut into RJ's minutes, then that has to be what that is.
That's what I'm saying.
Because you can't lose the game only because you're trying to appease somebody's. I don't even know what it is about RJ that we just fell in love with. He's been in the league long enough now to give us what we're supposed to have, and he's not doing that. Okay, so every week we say we'll do a quick player profile, and today the profile is Jericho Sims. So, you know, Jericho Sims is a 6'10" center, or backup center for us, 2021 second round pick. So he plays, his minutes per game is 16 minutes per game. Seemed like he played more than that to me, but I guess that's probably right. His points per game were 3.7. His field goal percentage is around at 77%, but we know those are mostly alley-oops, things to the basket.
Put back.
His rebounds is 4.8. That's adequate for the amount of time he's on the court. His assist is 0.5. I don't fault him for that because he don't get to touch the ball a lot. And then his strength, to me, is rebounding the ball and then keeping second shots alive. And his weaknesses, like, to me, because we've seen times with him handling the ball, we don't know what his weaknesses are because he's not given opportunity.
Yeah, no. Because
we've seen him take the ball and bring it up the court, right? And the only reason why he probably don't go all the way is because he probably the basketball instinct was to get the ball and dribble up the court, which he would do a couple times. And then all of a sudden, then it sets in once you get into the backcourt. Then it said, "Oh, I'm not supposed to be doing this," like Tibbs' way. So then he'll look to give it to somebody. Where he probably could have had the move to go all the way to the hole and get his dunks off. Right. Not to mind you that he's going to be in a dunk contest this year. And then his overall team contribution, goes back to we don't know what his weaknesses are because he's not given the opportunity. Even 16 minutes on the floor, if you're going to give him 16 minutes on the floor, knowing that he can jump out the gym, that he can pick and roll, at least give him 8 minutes of those 16 doing the things that he know how to do. Right. We're not utilizing him, correctly. And then we talk about Obi at the 3. We should try with Hartenstein at center. At some times try him at the 4 and Obi at the 3. Because now they all can touch the ball because you won't have Randall and Brunson out there. You put them out there with IQ and whoever the 2 guard is going to be out there, and let them guys, let them go for 5 minutes at a stretch. They're going to play. All of them are going to play hard. And then you got your backcourt protection. And then you got Hartenstein, who is a very good passing center. Right. So now imagine that. You feed into Hartenstein, and you got Obi and Jericho moving baseline to baseline, or, Obi moves out for a 3 or whatever it is, but you get that. You get that cutting in that movement. So again, Tibbs.
Hartenstein will probably do better in the way, what's his name on the Timberwolves? He's hurt right now. Cat. Yeah, he get it at foul line extended. He gets it there because he is a good passer. Yeah. That first pass you make.
Well, that's what he was doing in the beginning of the season when we was running.
Then you might pop out to the 3 and come back to you. You take that shot, which he did do in the preseason, the first like 2 games,
because
then we just stopped doing it.
Because the emphasis was on running.
Yeah.
So when they stopped, remember in the preseason, they said they had a thing in practice that the team had to run if they didn't make the open pass. So they got away from that. So yeah, it was easier for Hartenstein when the team is running. When I get the ball, boom, somebody's back door or somebody cut out. It's easier for him. But if nobody's moving and you throwing it, it's like now, okay, what do I do?
Right.
I'm stuck. So if you put in some other, utilize the guys you got on your bench. You didn't make a trade, so where can it hurt you? But it can only help you.
Right.
You know, a passing center, 2 big wing guys with all type of jumping skills. You can't run them off some side screens and all that old mess to get them back doors or whatever it is. You know, so the Knicks, we have our work cut out for us. All is not lost because some guys are going to be bought out, and just hopefully, Leon and Wes and them put their heads together and say, okay, this is what we need. And RJ, you're the weak link. With all the good things you do when you are going, you're the weak link. So let us know what y'all think about this year's trade deadline. Where did the Knicks go wrong? And then back on the topic of Hart, Josh Hart, should he start with the chemistry he got with some of our players, or should we keep him coming off the bench? All right, until next time, peace.
Peace.